Today we're talking about something you've probably seen when downloading software or checking your computer specs. That confusing little label that says 32-bit or 64-bit. What does it actually mean, and why should you care? Let's rewind a little to the 80s and 90s, when game consoles like the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, and the Sega Master System, or Genesis, ruled the living room. A bit in a computer CPU refers to the smallest unit of data that the processor can handle at once, determining how much information it can process and the overall performance of the system. The NES was an 8-bit system, meaning it could process data in 8-bit chunks. That's why early video games had simpler graphics, basic sound, and limited colors. Do you remember the blocky characters, chiptune music, and side-scrolling adventures? Charming, but simple. Then came the 16-bit era, with consoles like the Super Nintendo and Sega Mega Drive or Genesis. These systems could handle twice as much data at once, allowing for richer graphics, smoother animation, and more complex gameplay. Suddenly, games had detailed backgrounds, deeper soundtracks, and more on-screen action. You could really see and hear the leap in power. So in a way, the jump from 8-bit to 16-bit in gaming is like the move from 32-bit to 64-bit in computers today. It's all about how much information the system can process at once. More bits means more detail, more performance, and more immersive experiences. Whether it's retro games or modern software, the number of bits directly affects what a system can do, and how well it does it. When we talk about 32-bit and 64-bit, we're really talking about how a computer's processor, or CPU, handles information. The CPU, which stands for Central Processing Unit, is the brain of your computer. Just like the human brain processes thoughts and decisions, your CPU processes tasks and instructions. The difference between 32-bit and 64-bit is like the difference between a narrow road and a wide highway. A 32-bit processor can handle a smaller amount of data at one time, while a 64-bit processor can handle much more, and do it faster. Think of it this way. Imagine you're moving furniture through a hallway. With a 32-bit hallway, you can only carry one couch at a time. With a 64-bit hallway, you could carry 2 or 3 at once. That means things get done quicker and more efficiently. This is especially important when you're running demanding programs like video editing software, games, or even just multiple applications at once. A 64-bit processor gives you more breathing room. Now let's talk memory. One of the biggest practical differences between the two is how much RAM, or random access memory, each can handle. RAM is the short-term memory of your computer. A 32-bit system can only use up to about 4 GB of RAM. That's not a lot by today's standards. If your computer has 8 or 16 GB of RAM but it's running a 32-bit version of Windows, you're not using that extra memory. It's just sitting there, unused. A 64-bit system can use way more RAM, up to hundreds of gigabytes, though most of us won't need that much. Still, if you've got 8 GB or more, 64-bit is the way to go. So how do you know which one you have? If you're using a Windows computer, it's simple. Right-click on This PC, or My Computer, choose Properties, and you'll see a line that says System Type. It'll tell you whether you have a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system and processor. If you're on a Mac, pretty much all Macs made in the last 10 years are 64-bit by default. It's also important to match your software to your system. A 64-bit system can run both 32-bit and 64-bit programs. But a 32-bit system can only run 32-bit software. That's like trying to fit a wide truck down a narrow alley. It just won't work. So if you're upgrading your computer or installing software, check that you're using the 64-bit version if your system supports it. You'll get better performance, fewer crashes, and the ability to use more modern software. In fact, many programs these days don't even offer 32-bit versions anymore because the world has mostly moved on. To sum it up, 64-bit means your computer can handle more data, use more memory, and run faster overall. If you're still on 32-bit and your computer is capable of upgrading, it might be time to consider making the switch. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe. And as always, if you have questions, drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to help.